Hello, everyone. I'm Eric Cox. I'm a member of the Netcapital team. Let's allow one moment for everybody to settle in. Thanks. All righty, welcome again. I am so excited to be here with you all today for our July demo day. We have 5 fantastic companies that will present today, including Hercules EV, MyTapTrack, Protein Quick, Pop, and Universe. As always, each of these companies is actively raising capital on the Netcapital platform, and I am adding a link to that right now. Here at attendees. All 5 of the companies, the links have now been shared. So thank you so much for attending. A few quick housekeeping items. We will allow 5 to 7 minutes for each pitch presentation, and then 3 to 5 minutes for Q&A, depending on how long the presentations went. Please do use that Q&A functionality built into Zoom. We want to keep this as interactive as possible. Please, I do know that there's also a chat feature, but the Q&A makes it so much easier for me to track all those questions and get to as many of them as possible. So please do use the Q&A feature in Zoom. After all 5 presentations, each company will be allowed a moment or two to share some closing remarks, why now is the perfect time to go to netcapital.com and invest in their company. So please, panelists, do stick around to the end. And for our attendees, I would love if you stick around as well. With all that being said, it looks like James Breyer, you are first up, so perfect timing. Why don't you go on, come on up to the stage. You can share your screen if you'd like to, or you could just speak directly with the audience. Why don't you tell us all about Hercules EV? Come on in, James.
Hi, Sean. Thanks for the thanks, Eric. Thanks for the nice introduction. Looking forward to sharing what we're doing here at Hercules. And I am opening my deck. Just let me know when you can see it.
We can see it. And if you go to full screen or presentation mode, that's perfect.
Thank you so much. So Hercules is a mobility company focused on making electrification fun. So we're starting with sport performance pickup trucks, but we're multimodal. And so I'm going to go through that today and share some exciting updates. So we are looking at our commitments to both environmental, social, and financial. And so we have 3 pillars of mission in Hercules. Obviously the environmental, but active equality is part of our core mission. Equal opportunities by gender, race, et cetera, should not be an issue in 2021. And so we're looking to break the paradigm. Financial, we want to be a sustainable business for long term. My 3 co-founders, I'm James Breyer, CEO and founder of Hercules. My co-founder, Julie Tolley, is my Chief Strategy Officer, and Greg Reber is the Chief Technology Officer. Collectively, amongst ourselves, we have over 120 years of automotive experience, and with our extended staff, over 200 years of extended automotive experience, launching new progressive products. Why are we doing this? It's really about getting a tailored experience for your lifestyle. And in jewelry, in personal appearance, in clothing, in shoes, you can get exactly what you want in the marketplace. But today you cannot get a personalized product for your mobility solution. And so we're looking to break that paradigm with new, fun, exciting, customized products like our Hercules Alpha, or going into the marine industry, you can get a truly custom product at an affordable price point. And so we're breaking the paradigm of traditional OEM mobility and bringing something new, different, and exciting to the market with high performance, and fully custom interiors, fully custom exteriors, because you know your style best. We have a compelling business case, a strong strategy around niche performance product. We have a strong strategic partnership established with Nissan for production. We require 85% less capital than our competitors in the same space, because the very first thing they've done is gone out and buy a high capital, very costly assembly plant, which won't be fully utilized for 5 to 10 years. We're partnering with a strong OEM partner to solve that problem. We have a driven management team with on-point success in this field of electrification with, like I said, over 200 years experience collectively, and multiple ways to win: autos, SUVs, marines, and then recreational vehicles in our future. We generate over 1.6 billion in EBITDA within 5 years from this $220 billion market. So we're poised for success, and we're bringing that success today. We have competitive pillars that put us apart, set us aside from everyone else. Our platform transferability, our custom configurations, and our purposeful technology really are unique in the marketplace, and our modularity sets us apart. No more fixed skateboards that need to be redesigned every time you decide to do a new product. We are modular. We can go into any type of product seamlessly with a minimum of redesign of hardware and scalability by software. And so the return on assets, return on investment is superior to the others in our space. We're like Legos. We have a multiple flexible modular platform. We can go into utility vehicles, commercial vehicles, marine vehicles, and our sport performance vehicles using the same hardware, again, scaled by software. No change to the core structures, core intellectual property. These are the multiple ways to win. We are going into the automotive space as our core with a sport performance vehicle. We have custom interiors. Follow the links on our Netcapital site to see our first interiors. And I'm going to show you a very new video of our first drive of our fully functional Hercules Alpha prototype. And so we're really excited to share that today. We are going in the marine space, and we have commercial platform sales the deal's about to be penned over the next 2 weeks. So we're really firing on all cylinders here, to use an old school automotive pun. And so this is what we do. Exclusive styling designed by Pininfarina. High performance designed by Hercules. Personalized look and feel tailored for your lifestyle. Extreme luxury interior with a fully immersive digital hub experience. We include solar charging in a base model. And so when you're off grid, you can still charge the vehicle. We solve the problem of plug anxiety. And then if you want to order your custom product via online service or in person with a stylist, we bring that option as well through our service and sales centers throughout the US. We'll have 25 in the US within 3 years. And then we do have an agreement with Electrify America to do charging for customers. This is the Alpha. This is what our first product looks like. Extraordinarily style, high performance, integrated solar charging, 11 kilowatts of offboard power. So if you lose power at the home, the truck will power the home for up to 3.5 days. Great feature set to have when we get this unusual weather patterns that we're having now. 125 kilowatt DC fast charging, recharges in 45 minutes for a full day's drive. Really excited about the product. And a whole series of custom wheels, up to 50 colors exterior, hundreds of colors on the interior. You get exactly what you want. Choose it to fit your personality. Don't let me decide who you are. Design your own. And where are we today? And this is what I'm excited to share. And it's just a brief 15 to 20 second video. This is our first drive of the Hercules Alpha prototype. And as you can see, we're not coasting down a hill. We're not being pushed. This is not CGI. I'm driving that product and I stand behind it. High performance. By the time I hit the curve, I was doing 50 miles an hour. We're super excited to bring this to the market. We've got our dealer network in place. First prototypes road drivable. We have vehicle reservations coming in every day. Our merchandise sales are going forward, and we have our strategic partnerships formed. We have a custom no VOC paint system, so we're low impact to the environment in our production as well. Super excited about where we are. Look forward to having each of you consider us for investment and growing with us. So that's my presentation today. Any questions? I'll be glad to go through financials, where we project, where we're going, the market space. Hit me anytime. Hit me up, whatever you got.
Thank you so much for that, James. Very cool to see that first look video there, and the questions are coming in, so it's very exciting. First off, what is the entry level price point for the vehicle?
I knew I was going to be asked that. We have not disclosed pricing today, but what I can say is we're going to be competitive with the TRX from Ram and some other sport performance gasoline products today. So considering we're 1,000 horsepower and they're 700, we're a better value. And so we're going to be disclosing the price point for the retail customers. We will also have a lower priced fleet vehicle option in the future, but that pricing will come out this fall.
Great, thank you for that, James. And another question here, said Nissan has provided funding, is that right? And then has there been any conversations? That's great. So Nissan has invested, and then have there been any conversations around follow-on investments or exit opportunities to Nissan?
So yes, from an exit scenario standpoint, a lot of options exist. And so whether that's IPO, self-funded growth, through Nissan, acquisition is always a possibility. So we do have those ongoing conversations, but I won't commit to one or the other because there's lots of pathways for exit imminently. One of the nice things about our strategic investment from Nissan is they pretty much took up the full seed round. And so really put us on a pathway to success. We're not quite complete with that full funding from them. And so it really got us started in going forward in a big, big way, both in kind as well as cash investment.
Thank you. Thank you. Continuing along here, is there a lease option in place?
Lease option is something we are looking at. Yes. So we've been looking at both subscription and lease options. And so we're looking at lease very strongly. We like that option. I don't know about you, but what we're looking at is a kind of a novel version of the lease where we take lease buyback and then can reconfigure the vehicle, refurbish it in a factory refurbishment process, provide that to fleet customers in the future for the off-lease product. And so we're looking at some discussions with some of the banking institutions, how to set up exactly that lease option so we get the best return on the asset for the lease option. So we are going through that. We do plan to have leases available in the future. The first round will be purchases, but we are talking to a number of financial institutions about how to set up the lease.
And last two questions here. How long is the recharge, and how, I think it's the range question, how many kilometers per charge or ballpark range?
Well, unfortunately, I'm going to give it to you in miles because I think in miles first, being from the US, but 350 miles of range. The recharge cycle is overnight recharge on a level 2, which is your home charger, or 45 minutes there or so on a DC fast charge network.
And then very last question here, and I loved all the engagement, very cool interaction here. Please continue to keep this up. What about the price point for investors? And I'm not sure if you disclose anything like that, so you do not have to answer if there's something that you cannot address, but is there a different price point for investors in this round?
Yes. And so, well, I won't say price point, but yes, we are going to do a promotion for investors, which will lower that price. And I look to announce that this week. And so we just haven't published it yet. However, we are going to have a round of reservations and purchases exclusive to the investor community. So those who invest a set amount, and I'm not supposed to do promotions on this webinar here, but we will post it on our website this week. And so something will go out. So stay tuned on the website. But we are going to incentivize reservations and purchase for investors with a minimum level. And so I'm going to shoot from the hip and say,
Nope, we're going to stop. We'll
okay, right, you're going to stop me. I knew he was going to do that.
Perfect opportunity. So please go ahead and use that Q&A feature built into the offering page, and do engage and continue to follow along with the exciting developments coming from Hercules EV. Thank you so much, James Breyer.
Thanks, Eric.
And then if you can go ahead and stop sharing your screen, that would be perfect.
Certainly.
Awesome. Thank you, James. And thank you so much for all the attendees' questions. I think those are very thoughtful. James, you can go ahead and mute and go off camera.
Yep.
Attendees, please do welcome me in welcoming our next presenter, which is Nicody Keating, who's the CEO and co-founder of MyTapTrack. And so you do know, Nicody, you are still muted and your screen, your camera is not on, but if you can come on in and share with our attendees what you're building with MyTapTrack. And you're still muted. No, perfect.
Can you guys hear the audio?
Can you try it one more time?
Entry. That's a problem. Yeah, teachers.
Yes, yes, we could hear the audio.
Student behavior. They use often hinders significant.
It's a little bit low though. I'm not sure if there's any way to turn up the audio.
That's a problem.
Don't know.
Significant part of this task.
We'll go from here. Thanks.
What if we were able to capture the information rather than writing a report, where everyone could be on the same page, eliminate the time spent trying to describe what we saw, and instead find solutions. MyTapTrack creates better data.
So it did go in and out a little bit there. So maybe I'm not sure. Do you have a pitch deck presentation that we could use from here? Yeah.
Yeah. No, I do. So I'm Nicody Keating, and this is MyTapTrack. Our mission is to provide a child support team with better data and better communication for better outcomes. My journey started 3 years ago. My son, who's my oldest, went to his first day of kindergarten. My wife and I, like most parents, were nervous and excited when dropping him off. My son, unlike most kids, is different. He's autistic. Within 4 hours, my wife got a call from the school wanting to set up a meeting. Within 2 weeks, that meeting was set up where they pushed us to move him out of his general education classroom. Within 2 months, my son was spending the majority of his time in an isolated learning environment. It wasn't until we sat down for his first individual education plan meeting that I realized something fundamental was broken. Over the last couple of months, the school had done assessments on my son, and in those assessments, they had documented significant symptoms of absent seizures that had never been communicated to my wife or myself. I realized that what we ask of our teachers is way too much, that I wanted to be part of finding a solution. When talking to teachers, the majority of issues they ask for help in the classroom are behavior-based issues, which are the same issues that block students from engaging in their own education. As we continued our journey, we realized that the challenge of collecting and communicating behavior data is often a messy process that yields untimely, disconnected, and inaccurate data flows between members of an individual's care team. Behavior data is critical in decision-making for clinical treatment, medication management, and education planning. But providers need to gather and share out data in order to effectively treat and coordinate emergent issues before they progress too far. The majority of these behaviors, though, happen in school. MyTapTrack simplifies the process of capturing and visualizing data down to a click of a button, flexibly fitting into any environment using a client-centered framework and able to be used covertly and with individual privacy and dignity in mind. Here's how it works. MyTapTrack is easily set up with predefined behaviors and symptoms. When then a behavior occurs. The user presses the button once for one behavior, twice for another, and so forth. That information is sent immediately over Wi-Fi to our secure web platform, where our backend visualizes the data real time, allowing others to collaborate. Our AI interprets the information and can identify changes in patterns. Notifications can be sent when the pattern changes or when specific behaviors occur, allowing the team to respond at the right time with the right impact. We're making sure that we stay the most convenient and innovative and cost-effective data collection platform on the market by using our strategy of patents and working closely with our customers to continuously refine our system. We now have 3 separate ways to track data, allowing our customers to use the right tool for their challenge, as well as the capabilities to easily engage others on improving data collection in any environment. This has been a journey where we've used our customers to validate each step along the way to help us understand the diversities of challenges that exist across the country. We now can capture more types of information in the moment and seamlessly move between environments, users, and our roadmap is planned for the next generation of device. Our leadership team all have personal experience with children who have special needs. blending our foundation of compassion with professional expertise. I provide experience in startups and technologies. My background includes architecting the user interface for the Coca-Cola Freestyle soda dispenser, as well as various other systems. David has over 30 years in financial consulting and has invested and sat on the board of technology growth companies since 2007. Jenny is a child psychologist who's worked with multidisciplinary clinical teams in private, community, and hospital settings. And she also has experience as a state-level education policy analyst and researcher. Finally, Aaron brings over 20 years of experience in marketing and selling education technology to schools and districts. When looking at our competitors, our biggest competitor is pen and paper, which is sadly industry standard. There's other systems out there like Kickboard and Skyward, which do behavior-based tracking, but aren't very convenient for the classroom, which causes teachers to go back to pen and paper for the convenience aspects. Our go-to-market strategy leverages LinkedIn, email campaigns, and broad-based education conferences to directly connect with decision makers. MyTapTrack is included in teacher curriculum for Ole Miss, Grove City College, and Urban Teachers collaborations with Johns Hopkins, which will seed future classrooms across the country with MyTapTrack. We also implement a social media strategy for grassroots demand. Our team's outreach so far has had the most prominent interest coming from the fields of special education, behavior and medical health care, general education, and research. These markets often overlap, and MyTapTrack is well positioned to cross over. Our team's collective expertise has primarily focused on the special education market to this point. But if the right opportunity presents itself, we're ready to expand into closely tied markets, especially healthcare. Special education in the US has 7 million pre-K through 12 students, with another 5.2 million post-education students who need support. Worldwide, these numbers double. MyTapTrack's estimated primary market is 3.4 billion, with secondary markets available. This is our current status for our special education sales pipeline as we head into 2021. COVID has delayed completing sales with interested schools last year. However, we have sufficient capital to pursue our strategy through 2021, and we anticipate up to $250,000 in revenue soon after schools reopen, with more in the pipeline being aggressively pursued by Aaron and our sales team.
One more moment.
When looking at our potential purchasers, we see two categories. The first is behavior. It's the behavior vertical with Kickboard and Trumpet Behavioral Health. The second is suites, where we can offer a unique competitive advantage to suites of tools that schools are already using. We are currently executing our organic growth plan, and we have the team in place for this option. We have sufficient capital to get us through 2021. Obviously, the more money we can raise, the more we can invest in capturing more of our market before potential competitors enter. And I'll skip past the demo, but I want to thank you for your time. And if you have any questions, I'd love to answer them.
Thank you so much for that, Nicody. One question here. I see that you have active trials in 5 states and 11 school districts. What does that represent if that were to convert to paid trials? And then where do you plan to go from those states?
So the active trials right now, in terms of opportunity, is over $1 million. So oftentimes schools will start off with a smaller subset and then grow over time. We have the trials in place for that. Plus we have school districts around those trials actively watching the trials. We're also talking with regional experts or regional support groups in both Texas and Pennsylvania who are actively working with us on defining how we can best help the schools in their districts as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Nicody. If you can go ahead and stop sharing your screen, and we will continue to progress here. For those who are following along, attendees, I did add a link to both the previous presentation and that current one to the chat function in case you missed it at the very beginning of our programming. Thank you so much again, Nicody. Go ahead and go on mute, and you can stop sharing your screen or your camera, excuse me. Up next, I'd like to welcome in Scott Kaufman with Protein Quick. Why don't you come on up to the stage, Scott?
Hi.
And I'm not sure if you want to share your screen or if you want to just go without a presentation, but why don't you come on in and tell us all about Protein Quick?
Absolutely. Eric, thank you. Thanks to all who joined in. I think I'm just going to talk. I encourage you to take a look at our offering page, which will go into a little more detail about the brief overview that I'm going to give now. Protein Quick is basically up to 20 grams of protein in 2 ounces of liquid with no fat, no sugar, no carbs, no caffeine. It is just the protein. And the problem that we are trying to solve here is fairly simple. If what we'd like to talk about is the ingredient box challenge. And what we mean by that is if you take a look at your favorite protein supplement, whether it's a bar, a shake, a drink, and you flip that package over and you take a good look at the ingredients, you're going to see the protein that was the reason why you picked up the product in the first place. The problem is you're also going to see a tremendous amount of fat, sugar, carbs, liquid, calories. And the issue is that protein supplements have become very synonymous with meal replacement. And so the solution that a Protein Quick provides is delivering the protein without all of the fat, sugar, carbs, liquid, calories, etc. In fact, our 20-gram solution, the only source of calories is the protein, which means you're getting 20 grams of protein with only 80 calories. And so on our offering page, we do a head-to-head comparison against some of the top selling protein bars and shakes. And just to take a quick example, Muscle Milk. Muscle Milk advertises 25 grams of protein, I believe is in one of their SKUs. The problem is you have to drink 11 ounces of liquid to get those 25 grams of protein. So you do the math, after you drink 2 ounces of liquid, you're only getting about 5 grams of protein. Our entire strategy is built around distribution because we believe this is one of the very few products that if you are breathing on this planet, you need every day and multiple times a day. And so what I mean by that is number one, this is the opportunity that we have is very similar to 5-Hour Energy. In fact, we make reference to that in that we're using that same 2-ounce bottle. 5-Hour Energy became the category killer in that they were first. They locked up distribution, and they're one of those rare companies, obviously, that when you think about an energy shot, that's it. They own it. We believe that same opportunity exists in the protein market, with the difference being that not everybody needs 200 milligrams of caffeine in a shot. However, everybody, again, needs protein. And we think the market for this is astronomical. Getting back to the formulation, the price points we could hit different price points by varying the amount of protein in the product. So while our core offering is 20 grams of protein, we can drop that down to 10 grams. And now we have a solution for, say, dollar stores. We can bump it up to 15, 20 grams, sell it direct online. We could sell it in more mainstream retail. We can add collagen. Now we have something geared more toward the ladies. But it's ease of use. This is a ready to drink product. There is no mixing, no refrigeration. You literally open, 2 gulps later, you have up to 20 grams of protein. One of the big opportunities that we're offering and why this is so perfect for crowdsource investors is twofold. One, unlike a tech offering or some of these really interesting offerings that we're hearing about, especially today, every potential investor in Protein Quick is also a potential consumer. And what that means is by investing in Protein Quick, you are also advertising your investment as you use it every day. And inevitably what happens, and I can tell you from personal experience, is you will have a bottle, you will drink it, and inevitably someone will ask you, what is that? And that opens the conversation. You're converting your own customer and you are enhancing your own investment. And so we view crowdsourcing as a tremendous way to obviously to build awareness about the product, to build an investor community, but also a feedback community in that our investors are our consumers, and we're going to be able to gather all that information and use it to improve and expand our product line. In fact, one of the things that we're already doing as an example of that is our base formulation is whey protein. We are already in development in adjusting the protein for either plant or pea protein and using something like monk fruit as a sweetener, which would give us essentially like an all vegan type option. The product is also not solely reliant on consumer markets. What I mean by that is the medical side of this is a tremendous opportunity. There's different patient groups that obviously benefit from protein, but can't handle high amounts of whether it's calories or liquid or what have you. I'm talking Crohn's, colitis, bariatrics, chemotherapy patients. These are all different groups that have trouble keeping things down. And the products that they're handed today, usually something like a Boost or an Ensure, took the approach of, let's make our protein source more into, say, a hot fudge sundae, meaning in order to obviate the poor taste of the protein, we're going to surround it with so much fat, sugar, and carbs that you're obviating or eliminating the good of the protein in the first place. And that's why we say, using products like this, you're essentially putting a piece of broccoli, i.e. the protein, into a hot fudge sundae. So let me just take a minute to speak on the management team. Another thing that we're offering is Kevin Harrington is on our team, not just as a celebrity endorser, as an operating partner. And obviously for a product like this, when we're talking about such widespread distribution potential, and again, not just in retail, given that it is ready to drink, no refrigeration required, this opens the door to things like disaster relief, humanitarian, military. And so we felt that the fastest way to attract the broadest audience to get that type of distribution, who better to partner with than not only an original shark on Shark Tank, but one of the top marketers in the world. I mean, the man invented the infomercial, direct-to-consumer marketing, et cetera. In addition, we have the original CEO of Celsius Energy. Celsius, as you might be aware, is a monster Red Bull type energy product. The stock is on fire this year. Our CEO on our team took it from just a good idea to a market cap of over $5 billion. I was on the original management team of TrackPhone Wireless. TrackPhone was very similar to Protein Quick in that providing a very simple solution to a very common problem, and that was, how do we put cell phones in Walmart that don't require a credit check? That became an $8 billion a year company. So we have a management team that is experienced doing exactly this, taking a good idea, monetizing it in a way that maximizes value for its shareholders. So I hope that we get some good questions. Again, I encourage you to review the head-to-head comparisons on our operating page. And with that, I guess we'll take any questions you have.
Yeah, and in this last minute, let's get us started here. What does the market size for this product look like?
It's interesting, Eric. It's a very good question. It really depends on how you define it, because protein is in so many other products. In fact, it's very hard to pick up a box of anything without the protein content highlighted. And in fact, what I always like to tell people is, look at the back, look at that ingredient list. There's a reason why the protein content is highlighted, but not the calories, not the sugar content, or not the fat. So to define it, as we narrowly define it, I believe in our offering page, we came up with a $17 billion market just in the very narrowly defined protein supplement category.
That's right, and projecting about 8.4 CAGR over the next, I think it's 7 years. So it looks like some sizable growth from that perspective. Want to stay close to time, but one more question coming in here. What is, you said distribution is the key, and Kevin is a huge piece of that, Kevin Harrington that being. Can you talk about what's so special about being able to transport fewer liquids and how that affects the revenue model as a whole?
Transport, I'm sorry?
Less liquid. How does that form factor of a small piece and the fact that you're not shipping huge amounts of fluids, how does that impact the business model?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you think in a direct-to-consumer space, instead, we're shipping literally a 2-ounce bottle. And the plan specifically online, direct-to-consumer, is, again, since this product could be used every day, is we could be shipping 30 packs for 1-a-day usage or a 60-pack. But the point is that that model, that online model, again, since this is the product that could be used every day, we're able to amortize our customer acquisition cost over several months of reorders.
Perfect. That's exactly what I was looking for. Thank you so much for that explanation, Scott. Thank you for the questions that have come in. You can go ahead and mute and stop your video, but do stick around for all of our panelists, because we are going to end in about a minute or 30 seconds each of why now is the perfect time to join your company. So do stick around. And that does show that we're about the halfway mark. We have 2 more presentations, so do stick around. But I'm going to take this opportunity to remind everyone that each of these companies presenting is actively raising capital on the Netcapital platform. You can go to netcapital.com and search the name of each of these companies: Hercules EV, MyTapTrack, Protein Quick, Op, and The Universe. You can see more information there. And if you are still inclined to, you can hit that invest button in a matter of moments. You can own a piece of these companies. So do visit the platform. And if you're interested, please do share the links more broadly and invest if you are able to and interested in it. I've added a link to each of the companies that have presented so far. Let's keep the party going with Fabrice Lane. Are you there? You can go ahead and come off mute, share your screen, and if you do want to present, you can go ahead and you can turn on your camera and you can share your screen if you'd like to.
What's up, guys? How's it going, everybody?
Hello, hello.
Hi, everyone.
Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Eric. You're doing a great job. Do we want to share the screen?
Whoops, that's not that.
That's okay.
Right there. There you go.
All right. Are you guys being able to see that?
I don't see it yet.
Did you click share screen?
Enlève ça. Enlève ça.
Might be a multiple screen situation here. I've seen it in the past.
C'est ça que ça tombe.
Okay, could you see something right now?
No.
I still do not.
Let's go into the Zoom webinar and click share screen. Share desktop. Yeah.
Sure.
There you go.
Whoa.
Oh,
Okay. Well,
Nah. What do you see?
this
I still see
Just
all
us.
of us. Yeah.
that's all right. This is okay. We can talk about it. It's very self-explanatory anyway, and we don't want to waste your guys' time.
everybody can
Let's
see
dive
the
in.
pitch deck. Everybody can see the pitch deck, anyways, right?
The pitch deck is on Netcapital to check it out.
That's correct. And if you'd like, I can actually go ahead and share my my screen here, and I do have the offering page up if you'd like to do that.
Yeah, that would be great.
Sure, that would be great.
Take off that screen.
Okie dokie.
Thanks, Eric. You're so
Everybody should be able to see that. Oh man, I aim to please. Can everybody see that?
all right.
All right, we'll start. I'll follow your lead.
Pitch deck is below.
All right. So, do we have the control of moving that too, Eric, or no?
No.
No, that would be cool.
Huh.
All right, so that shows you there where
Oh,
you
there we
can
go.
find the pitch deck. So I'm Antoine Elaine, and this is Yves Mitchell. This is my father, Fabrice Elaine. We're the 3 founders of Hop Road Buddy Finder. It's the first social carpooling app in the world. We connect drivers that are already going places, long to medium distances, with riders that need a ride for gas money based on similar interests. Now, I know that sounds like a lot right now, but it's actually really simple. Riders come in and request a ride to, let's say, from Los Angeles to San Diego, Wednesday at around 12 o'clock. It sends you a list of drivers that have that accurate ride that they're taking, and they have empty seats in their car, so they're on there. And with the most common interests being at the top and with less going to the bottom. So we're very lucky to have Matt Barnes, as you can see there, an NBA champion and all the Smoke podcast host. We're really, as you can see, he's really pumped to be a part of it. This is how people get around in Europe right now with a company called BlaBlaCar. This is kind of how I got the idea, actually. I went to Europe and used it, and I came back over here and I was like, why don't we have this here? There was nothing here other than Craigslist and Facebook that people are using to do this. So yeah, this is here's the problems you can see. Thank you, Eric, for doing such a good job. This is very good teamwork. As you can see, our problems are very simple problems. The cost for long distance travel is too high with Uber, with Lyft, with taxis. The public transportation is inconvenient, trains, buses, too many stops, and you have to go from where they drop you off to where you're going anyway. There is no other app right now. People are using Craigslist and Facebook, as I said. Trust is easier to earn with us because you have a profile, you have ratings, you have reviews. People are talking about their experience with you. And air pollution, that's a big thing for us. We're surfers. We're starting here in California. California is an adventure state. So we know that being green-minded is something that we strive to do over here. The solutions are as simple as the problems, as you can see. People like to save money. You can do that on our app really easily and get where you're going more conveniently with the save time. Drivers can make money. You know, everybody wants to have a little extra money and gas money. More trust, as we said earlier. Buddy finding, you get to connect. We made sure that you are matched with people that have similar interests, so you get to talk, you get to connect, and the helping the planet thing. Less cars on the road, better air. Can't complain about that.
Carpooling.
So here we go to how Hop works. I want to let Eve talk. She's really good at this, so I want to let her have it.
Oh, you're great. Okay. Okay. So here's just some screenshots, some like really basic screenshots of the app, just to give you a good idea of how it really works. So that first page with heading somewhere is and the first thing you'll see. So you get to choose whether you need a ride because you're a passenger or you're going to give a ride and you're going to be the driver. That second little screenshot right there, I'll still stay up there, that's basically the home page. That's your like central page where you can upload, as a driver especially, you have to upload your driver's license, your insurance, your registration, and all those have to be up to date. So you also have to enter the expiration date. And if any of that's expired, you're not going to be able to offer a ride. And the Hop team cross-verifies and makes sure that all the documents that you posted are up to date. The third screenshot will show what it looks like as a passenger, as a rider that's searching for a ride. They get to input where they're starting, where they're going, and then it'll show you the list of rides that match best. And then once you find a ride, you can click into the driver and see how many mutual interests you have in common. And it's on the little, it's hard to see right now, but it shows the number. So you can always see the number of common interests that you'll have together. So then the rider can request the ride. The driver gets to either accept or deny it once they get to check out the profile. And, you know, we have a few little like preferences as well. So, you know, a really big thing is, you know, some women might want to only be riding with other women, you know, or men might only want to ride with other men. So you get to select your certain preferences, as well as smoking, if dogs are allowed, if you're going to listen to music, roof rack, some like basics. And then the interests, this is really what sets us apart a lot, is you have all your different interest categories there. So we have our, you have hobbies, we have education, hobbies, music, sports fan, like sports teams, profession, and education. Yeah. So in each of those categories, there's a whole long list that you get to select of, you know, what all of your interests are. And that's what we use to match you up with other road buddies.
Last minute. Last minute.
Oh, shoot. Okay. Anyways, you get the idea.
Let's let my dad hear Fab. He's got a wonderful, charming French accent. You guys can hear.
Yeah. So most of the money we raise, the majority going to go in marketing. So marketing is our big things, obviously, to get the users, to get the people signing up on the app. So we're going to use a lot of social media, offline, online marketing on the university and college, UCLA, all the school in California to target the student. We have music festival. Also
I'm actually going to go ahead and pause you there. And I know you're ending on music festivals as one of the target audiences, but we do have a couple questions that are coming from the audience. And I'd love to welcome them in before we switch over to the other. The first question that came in was, is there any kind of background check? I know the answer is yes, but Eve, do you want to take that one? I know you were talking about it a little bit.
Okay, so what we are going to implement is a background check, an optional background check, where you get to choose if you do that. You know, you can voluntarily do the background check, you know, pay the fee for it. And that just gives you an extra little check mark verification. But that's optional. You don't have to do that. What we do, and drivers have to do this, is they have to have an updated driver's license, registration, and insurance in order to offer rides.
And then does the driver pay the charge? Or does the rider pay the charge?
Rider.
Sorry. Yeah, yeah. That's the question. Who pays the fee? Is it the driver or the rider?
For the background check?
Oh no, sorry, for just using the Hop platform.
Oh, the rider.
The rider. So the rider is the one that pays the fee. Yeah, that's just, there's a tiered platform fee between $2.99 to $6.99, depending on how long the ride it is, and that's charged to the rider. Yeah.
Perfect. And that's a discount from other rideshare platforms, and on the price, as you saw from the pitch slide there. Thank you so much, Fabrice. Thank you so much for that, Eve. Of course, Antoine, always good to see you. And I'm going to switch over to our final presentation here. And so, sorry, Hop, you can go ahead and go off of camera and go ahead and go back on mute as I switch back over here. Our final presentation, but not least, and still have closing remarks, so do stick around. Monica Brady with Universe. Why don't you come on in and tell me all about what you're building with Universe?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Eric. And thank you, Netcapital, for having us today. And I'm going to share my screen. Let's see. Alrighty. And we shall go to play. Well, thank you, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here with you all. And this is our product. My name is Monica Brady. I am one of the founders here at Universe. And at Universe, we believe it's time to stream smarter. So before we get going, I'd like to take you back to the 1950s when here in the United States, we had three networks to navigate, and, ABC, NBC, and CBS. And at that time, they felt that was so cumbersome that they wrote a whole book about it. And they published that book, TV Guide, every week, just to navigate 3 channels that had set times, set programming, yet every week at the grocery store, you would find that. But now we have content overwhelm, which leads to decision paralysis. So what we like to ask is, how many of these systems do you have? How many of these streaming services, channels do you have? So today's consumer has over 150 streaming services, and they have spent over 23 minutes per night, if you're not in the middle of a movie or the middle of a series, making a decision of what to watch next. And that leads to spending extra money when you buy something on one platform, but you already had it on another platform. So it leads to spending extra time, extra money on all this content overwhelm. So what is the solution? Well, View is the solution. View is the people first subscription channel guide for the streaming universe, which maximizes your time, your subscription investment, of which you've already made a substantial amount, and keeps your personal data private. And how our algorithm works in order to offer up such great suggestions is when you log into our system, you can see our UX UI here, you're asked off the bat to rate 10 titles. And those 10 titles are divisive on purpose so that the algorithm starts learning your likes and dislikes and can make up great content recommendations right off the bat. So you're already in and engaged, and you're already getting great suggestions. Then you can create custom watch lists that feed into those, so you know what you have to watch, where you have to watch it, and what mood you're in. Because sometimes you get home from work and you want a comedy, sometimes you want a drama. And then also sharing with friends and family. We're bringing back that old water cooler talk where we used to share with each other what we're watching. But now when people go, oh, I'm watching Dark, but I don't know what channel it's on, or I don't know where I'm streaming it, you could share that right away with friends and family. And the other beautiful thing about our app is that you deep link right into your subscription services from our app. So it's a deep link, and you pick up right where you left off. So here's a little product demo on demo day. Go figure. And let's just make sure this plays right. I'll talk you through it. Ooh, there we go. It's looking good. So you get home from work, you sit down and watch your TV, turn it on, and then you're overwhelmed. So you're like, do I want a little Netflix? Gosh, do I want a little Showtime? I don't know. And Disney Plus, we got all these options. Gosh, Adult Swim, I don't know. So thank God I have Universe. You launch our app, and then you see everything that you've wanted to watch or been recommended to watch right there in a row. And you can get very granular on the things you like. So you can say fun 1990s action movies, or let's see, critically acclaimed intense dramas. Well, Rectify, that's been recommended. Chernobyl, well, 2020 is still lingering in my mind. Want to avoid anything too dark. So you go down to your weird thought-provoking superheroes and you see The Boys. Now that's been recommended so many times. You're like, that's what I want to watch. In our app, you click on The Boys, you see you have it on Prime Video. You can play the trailer if you want further, validation that this is what you want to watch. Then you launch and you cast it to your television. And you're watching in under 1 minute instead of taking that 23 minutes to find something decent to watch. So where we are right now is we closed our safe round of 1 million in January of this year. And with that, we reached milestones. We have an MVP in beta with, we let 1,800 into the beta, 1,800 users into the beta. And in that beta, we have 189,000 movie titles and 64,000 streaming and series titles. We're on the Apple and Android app. And we have a customer wait list of 10,000. And we also, of keynote, we were a South by Southwest, one of 5 finalists for South by Southwest AI and Innovation Awards. And in October of last year, we were one of the semifinalists in the Pepperdine's Most Fundable Companies. And where we are, what we're doing with Netcap is a 250,000 raise, part of our Series Seed round. And those funds will be allocated to product engineering, the key hires, privacy and software counsel, updating our UX and UI, our process patents, and strategic partnerships, content, as well as bulk subscriptions like with major telcos. So that brings us to the addressable market, our total addressable market, and why to invest in Vuniverse. Well, everybody invests in things to make money. And the beautiful thing about our numbers is that on a robust market, our numbers are based upon super conservative penetration of that market. So we think that our number of users is 102 million users, and we base that upon that 3+ subscription services. So under 3, we're saying you might not need our service to navigate, but we go with that TV guide there at the 3 and above. So that's 48.8 million households, 102 million users, and that's a $2.2 billion market. That's a total addressable market. And then here's where we are looking at our good numbers. 0.3% of that market penetration is 148,000 users, and that puts us at a 500,000 monthly recurring revenue. And that's our launch of our 2.0, View 2.0 plus 6 months. Then we look a little further into the future, View 2.0, which is going to be out in the fall of this year, is 0.66% market penetration, and that's 1.1 million monthly recurring revenue with 324,000 subscribers. These are super doable numbers. And then we go even further into the future at 2% market penetration, and that's just under 1 million Vuniverse subscribers, and that's 3.6 million monthly recurring revenue.
1 more minute.
And that, sorry. Well, that brings us to the investment part of Demo Day. So our offering, we encourage you to check out our offering on the Netcapital platform, and our investment is $99.60 is the threshold, and it's a great investment. It's something we all need. It's something you're probably going to get off these phone calls and go sit in front of your streaming device. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Monica. Sorry to try to wrap you up a little early.
No, it's all right.
Corner. I should have held my tongue. I apologize. But the questions are.
I was having a good time. Okay, let me.
And it was going so well. I mean, I personally feel like I have subscribed to every single one of those that you showed. But the questions that are coming in, what are the differences between Vuniverse and Netflix? How are your plans to competing with them? I think there's a lot to unpack there, so I'll let you come on in.
Oh, we don't compete with Netflix. Netflix is a content provider, and we are just, think of us as the roadmap to, we don't create the content, we just tell you how to find the content. Think of us as like the Google Maps for content. We don't actually maintain the roads either. So, and Netflix is a content creator. And we will never get into the content creation business. We're just the level playing field where all the networks and the OTT, the over-the-top streaming services like Netflix can come play in. And then it helps you. We benefit Netflix in the fact that we help people find their content, that people that would like what they're, what they're streaming, find it through us, or help find it through us. Yep.
That's right. And to add a little bit of clarity to that is Netflix makes recommendations for shows on their platform. Universe makes recommendations for shows across all the platforms.
All
Do I have that right?
Yeah. Correct. That is correct. And so we're agnostic in our recommendations, whereas Netflix, who creates their platform, creates their content, their vested interest is to see you stay in their silo, which is just their business model, which makes sense. But we're for everybody. So if there's something on Hulu and the algorithm says, we think you'll like this other show on Netflix, then it's cross-platform recommendations. So.
Gotcha. And then last question before, and I'm going to keep you, or maybe two questions it looks like.
Sure.
And I'm going to keep you on after this to be our first person to say why now is the perfect time. And we're going to go reverse order. So I'm queuing everybody up right now. We're going reverse order presentations. Evelyn, you're going to, Monica, you're going to stick around with me, and then we're going to go, and then we're going to go Hop, Approaching Quick, MyTapTrack, and Hercules EV from there. But question that came in, you mentioned privacy in the very beginning, and I know that's critically important to you. Can you talk about that sharing information and what that privacy looks like and why that's so important?
So you are the center of your viewing universe at Vuniverse. So we never sell your data, share your data, or your data is paramount for us to protect. And there's a great moment in a Netflix documentary called The Social Dilemma, where they say that if you are not paying for the product, then you are the product. And so that's what happens on these other platforms, is your data is being traded and you're being targeted for different things. And those algorithms aren't based on your vested interest. They're based on whoever created the algorithms' vested interest. So if they want you to buy something, they're going to encourage that. But if Vuniverse, we just want you to have a good night of watching. There's so much great content out there that you should never have a bad night. It should always be directed at you and something that you like. So that's what we believe.
That's beautiful sentiment, especially now. And then last question here. Do you plan to capitalize on pay for prime placement space in your app for recommendations between content providers? So I think the question is, could one provider pay to recommend a piece of content through the universe?
No, because then the viewer is not paramount. Then you're beholden to the person who paid you money. So that would be a conflict of interest.
Beautiful. And it looks like we have time to sneak one last one in there. Why are there so many people on the wait list? That just came in. So many people interested in download. What's going on?
Because we're launching that's a great one. Because we're launching View 2.0. We have enough people in the beta that we can glean enough information off of them statistically. So we'll keep people on the wait list in order to let them in when it's more robust and when we feel, and that's going to be in the fall. That's what we're raising this 250 for. And we're going to make our deadline on that for hopefully the fall streaming new series. Fall upfronts, as we'd like to call them, which keep going on way late this year. So as you can imagine with the lockdowns.
They certainly do. So I'll go ahead and have you stop sharing your screen, but I'll keep you on camera and unmuted. So here is our transitioning into our closing remarks. Friendly reminder, each of these companies is actively raising capital on the Netcapital platform. You can select any and all of those links. I'm gonna go ahead and drop all 5 of them in a row again right now. So you can go directly to netcapital.com and invest in those companies through those direct links, or search for the company name on the Netcapital platform. But now, as we conclude, closing remarks here, Monica, why is now the perfect time to go to netcapital.com and invest in Vuniverse?
Because we are already 50% of our raise all done, and it's the perfect time to invest in us because the time is now for our product, and we are looking at a fall launch, so we're closing fast, and it's a good time to hop on the moving train. Sorry, I'm very animated tonight.
No, that's perfect. And that was a perfect length for the closing remarks, by the way. I like to be very punctual. So we're going to run about 2 minutes over with these closing remarks. But that is perfect, Monica. Thank you so much for your time. You're already back on mute. You knew where I was going with this. Hop, Fabrice or Eve or Antoine, when you want to come back on and unmute and share why now is the perfect time to join the Hop team by investing.
Great. The time is now also for us, really, because the sharing economy has blown up in the last, say, 5 years even. Everybody's using Airbnb, Uber, Lyft. People are sharing living rooms and apartment complexes. They're sharing everything. So the world's really ready for it now. And, this is our big time to raise with the public, but moving on forward, we're most likely going to be working with big private investors that we were already talking to. So this is the time to get in on HOP.
And it looks like the fall school commute is coming up rapidly. So all sorts of good reasons to come in right now. Going on to the next one. Thank you so much for that, Eve and the HOP team. I think in order, Scott, come on in and tell us why now is the perfect time to go to netcapital.com and invest in Protein Quick.
Absolutely. This gives you an opportunity to invest in the ground floor in a product with really an unlimited market that with a guy like Kevin Harrington right from the beginning. You will be in business, for lack of a better word, with a shark today. And you don't really have to take our word for it. That's the beauty of this, of our offering. Pick up a box of anything and you will see the protein content highlighted, and you will see our business plan in the ingredient panel when you flip it over. And again, we think the sky's the limit. Like, best way to summarize it is exactly Kevin's quote on our site and also in our video, which is Protein Quick will be the 5-hour energy of protein. And I encourage you to jump in right now. And this is perfect for crowdsourcing in that you will be able to use your investment and advertise it every day. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Scott. And I know the team over at Hercules EV had a hard stop at 5, so we won't get to hear why it's the perfect time to go there. But you can go to netcapital.com and invest in all these companies. So that is a plug for the group as a whole and all the companies on the platform generally. So Hercules will not do the closing remarks. We lost them at the end there. But ending here, last but not least, Nakoti, why is now the perfect time to go to netcapital.com and invest in MyTapTrack?
Yeah, so MyTapTrack right now is doing the growth that we expected last year, and we're actually seeing it. We have a multi-year deal with a school district. We have multiple other school districts that we're working through the purchase order process actively right now. And so we're growing at the rate that we expect to. On top of that, the number of lives that we can affect together is astronomical. Like, you think about what a child with a good education can do in the world. And then you take some of these kids who aren't on that same level playing field and being able to get them up there so they can really have that education that they've been missing. At the same time, by increasing their ability to access education more effectively, we're also decreasing the cost for education for schools, which means that schools can then focus on even more things around education and elevating everybody at the same time. So now is a great time to jump in and help us impact kids around the world.
Beautiful sentiment, Nakoti. Thank you so much for closing us out with that. And with all of that, we are 4 minutes over time. So thank you so much for the attendees for sticking around and listening and asking those thoughtful questions. I want to thank all of our panelists who joined in and shared about their companies, including Hercules EV, MyTapTrack, Protein Quick, HOP, and Universe. As always, this has been recorded and will be uploaded to the Netcapital YouTube channel. I just added a link to that in the chat. So please do go back and review anything that you might have missed. And feel free to share it with a friend that you think might be interested in potentially joining the team as an investor. With all that being said, I'd like to thank you all again for joining us, and I'll see you next time. Have a good evening.